All right. Well, thank you for joining us here this wonderful, delightful Shabbat morning. We are today going to be doing a wonderful, we're going to be listening to a wonderful teaching by Conrad. This is actually a part two um, of leaving Egypt and the 360-day year. So if you haven't watched the first part, I recommend that you go back 2 weeks ago and watch it, and you'll have a better understanding what this teaching will be all about. So he will basically go over the, you know, as they were leaving Egypt, and he is, as mentioned on Exodus 19, and how long it took them to get to Mount Sinai, and all of that. So I think we're going to be very blessed by this teaching, or at least this continuation of that first teaching, and I hope we will be. So so thank you. And for those who are watching this for the first or maybe a few times, and you want to get weekly notifications, please go to the Torah to the Tribes.com/connect and just sign up and register on their covenant calendar so you can receive weekly notifications and join us in discussions and comments, testimonies, whatever we need to share, we share. All right, well, blessings. And Conrad, whenever you're ready, brother.
Shalom, everyone.
You have to make us co-hosts.
Oh, sorry.
It's all good.
Can share.
Okay, there you go. You're good now.
All right, I'm good now. All right. Share. Okay. Shalom, brothers and sisters of the body of the Mashiach, after the Melchizedek priesthood order of Hebrews chapter 6, verse 20, in the new covenant arrangement. The topic of this very difficult power presentation is not easy, but remember, bear with me, you are under a new covenant. And being under a new covenant, you must bear with me and be patient. And do not be like the Israelites, please. In the wilderness, you should be different by far, under a better covenant. The topic is Shemot, Exodus 19:1. On this, and I put in brackets, same they exposed. What day and date? Notice the day and date. And day and date is based on time. It's about time. Calendar is based on time. That is very important. And the date is on the day of a 1 to 7 week. All right, understand that. What day and date of the third month did the Israelites arrived at the wilderness of Sinai? Part 2. And I put the word exposed. Sometimes you hear some people exposed. What do you mean? Conrad exposed, Torah to the tribe exposed. Expose is to make something visible or make something known. So we are going to make something known and visible in calendar, as well as two witnesses, one in writing and the other by numbers or figures. We will find out. And the basis of this really is Bimidbar, Numbers 33, verse 3. You're going to hear that a lot. Shemot, Exodus 16, verse 1. and Shemot, Exodus 19, verse 1, clarified. And these are all about covenant. That is important. Do not forget that. Yahuwah, I'm going to make a statement, never made any covenant calendar with any lunar solar construction. That is important. Whether it is Enoch or Gregorian or Jubilees, called the Book of Jubilees, but on a 360 days year covenant calendar. There's where Mario got the understanding from, and Matthew Nolan of Torah to the Tribes, when they read it. And when they read this is so important. In Exodus 19, verse 5. Now, if you obey me fully, and this is also goes to us as well, okay? Now, if you obey me fully and keep whom? My covenant, not your covenant, my covenant, then out of all nations, you will be my treasured possession. Although the whole earth is mine, you, over to the tribes of the Melchizedek priesthood, will be for me a kingdom of priests after the Melchizedek order, and a set apart nation. Means set apart, Kodesh means special and different. That's my introduction here as I move ahead. The name Exodus is derived from the Greek Exodus, which is paralleled by an old Hebrew ascription, the book of the departure. You can read along with me, from Egypt. But the general Hebrew title, Book of Names, so called after the opening words of chapter 1. It starts off like, these are the names, and it gives whom, like Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, etc., etc. And there is where we get this understanding of Shemot, in which the LXX call Exodus, and from the book of the departure from Egypt, based on an old Hebrew ascription. Now, let me move before I go into anything further. It is important for you to get an overview of the book of the Exodus to help you in your understanding of the 360 days year covenant calendar. We are coming out of the darkness, and oh yes, we are pushing back the darkness. The prologue, move ahead here. The contents of Exodus 1, I'm going to do this in 10 minutes, I hope. The prologue is chapters 1 and 2, the children of Jacob, Israel, settling in the province of Goshen, and have grown into a multitude of great size. 2, the mission. Exodus 3, verse 9, 2, that dash means 2, 7, and to 13. In the desert, Elohim reveals himself to Moses and sends him on a mission. Moses hesitates, but was assured you will aid him on his return to Egypt. Sometimes the Father has to give us assurance when we hesitate when to do his will, but he will give us assurance. 3, confrontation. Here we have confrontation. Exodus 7, verse 14, verse 14 to Exodus to verse 16. I have to make that clear when that dash here means to, make it clear for you to understand. Through a series of punishments or plagues, Pharaoh concedes defeat. The drama reaches its climax. Passover instituted, and forever, Israel is to retell the tale of redemption. You can see that all through the prophets, always, and Psalms. They always talk about the Exodus as it was present. We will always have our Exodus when we also came out of the world, and we are of the world, but not of the world. And so the tale of redemption through the celebration of Passover, even up to this day or time, on the 360 days year covenant calendar. And you will see how all fits on this calendar. That's quite a lot. Okay, 4, here we go, 4, the road to Sinai. The road to the wilderness of Sinai. I give back to you Exodus 13, verse 17 to Exodus 18 to verse 27. Let me repeat that again. You have it, you see it. Instead of guiding them straight to Canaan, he could have, but he did not. He knows his infinite wisdom. Instead of guiding them straight to Canaan, and they will be there within maybe 4 months or so, the children of Israel, he leads them by the Reed Sea or Sea of Reeds. Pharaoh's army was destroyed, and Israel celebrated their salvation with a hymn of gratitude and exaltation to Yahuwah. 5, revelation and commandment. Exodus 19, verse 1 to Exodus 20, verse 18. Awesome signs and manifestations. The 10 commandments are proclaimed. Exodus 19:16. Everyone in the camp trembled, including Moses. Hebrews 12:21. The sight was so terrifying that Moses said, I am trembling with fear. The 10 commandments are proclaimed. We are about to discover on what day of the week, take note, what day of the week, the date and the month when this was done on the 360 days year covenant calendar. You are here as a witness. You are going to discover whether you believe it or not. So when we are not here, then somebody comes up and tells you, and then you say, they never told me this, they never told me that. All right, you're going to hear it today, whether you accept it or not. You're going to find out today or hear today the day of the week, the date and the month when this was done, the 10 commandments proclaimed. And I have a new slide, thanks to Jose, suggestion, and Linda Demas. And I make a special slide for that too as well, because the Creator is set apart, special, and different. So Moses becomes Elohim's interpreter and announcer of Elohim's will. You see, Moses is in the midst when they could have Elohim speaking directly to them. But no, they were afraid and wanted Moses to be the intercession person. All right. So Elohim's will, Israel first prophet, so to speak. Moving ahead. 6, the laws. Exodus 20, verses 19 to Exodus 24, verse 18. 4 chapters record large number of diverse rules and regulations. Moses reads this book of the covenant to the people who proclaim everything Yahweh has said we will do, just like when we make that commitment, when we make that covenant, when we were born from above. We also says everything Yahweh says we will do. We are now slaves of righteousness presently right now. So be careful. You have already made that covenant and you cannot take it back. Do not be a fool to do so. Then the book of the covenant is confirmed, ratified by blood, Exodus 24, 6, 8. Then a covenant confirmed meal, Exodus 24, 9 to 11. The book of the covenant would include the 3 annual festivals of Exodus 23, verses 14 to 17. On the 360 days year covenant calendar, and we are about to discover again which day of the week and date and month when the book of the covenant was confirmed on the 360 days year covenant calendar, or that many have overlooked or do not know. I spent a lot of time on this for a reason. Then we have here in 6, I already talked about that. Then we have 7, sanctuary and service. Now here you have a situation that has been overlooked. Here we have here Exodus 31, and you have verse 18. There is a what we called the chronology. There is a chronology. The chronology ends here in Exodus 24, verse 18. Chronology is arrangements based on the order of time and dates. But we have here something called anachronism, something that is not according to occurrences, is out of order. Failing to understand would lead to some problems. So this is here, this is not chronological. However, the chronology picks up in 8 here, which is apostasy and second commandment, which is Exodus 32, verse 1. Repeat, the chronology ends here.
Hey, Conrad, I think we lost you.
Exodus 32, yeah, you lost me?
Yeah, just go back go back to and re-explain a little bit on the
because
number 6.
something froze us a while ago.
Okay.
The chronology ends in Exodus 24, 18. The anachronism is here. It is not in order, is out of order. You can look at it. Exodus 24, 1 to Exodus 31 to 18. Then the chronology picks up in Exodus 32, 1 to 40 to 38. It ends. So think about that. Chronology, where the cursor is, chronology here continues, and this is out of order, called anachronism. And I have to explain that on a later time. Then you have the apostasy, the sin of the golden calf, and second covenant made at Mount Sinai. Now, Moses in the mountain, 40 days and 40 nights here. It's almost a year after the Exodus. The first goal setting phase of Israel's history is completed. And with it, the book of the covenant. Three major themes. A, the wilderness theme. A person or nation has to be isolated and refined by trial in desolate wilderness, desert. A covenant, that's one. That's the only way sometimes you can hear from the Creator. When you are all alone, when you're isolated, there is no one around to help you. The only one that you can rely upon is the unseen Creator above, who would hear you and listen to you. And you will be refined by trial in desolate wilderness. A covenant set forth the obligations. The Creator does not do anything without a covenant. Noah's covenant with the rainbow. Oh, come on. Abraham covenant. Genesis 12 of Bereshit 12, covenant of promise. Land covenant 15, Genesis 15. Circumcision, Genesis 17. A covenant set forth the obligations of both partners. Both partners. Yahuwah is bound under his covenant. He is a man who will not lie. And then we have, which is most important, Yahuwah is exalted, the theme of Exodus, and praised. He is enthroned in the song of Moses and Miriam, and you can read that in Exodus Shemot 15, 1 to 21. Woo, that's a lot of Exodus finish here in a long time. Moving ahead, bid me by Numbers 33, verse 3. The Israelites, what is bid me by the way? It's a Hebrew term, it's a Hebrew word. It means the wanderings in Exodus 33. When you read it, when they left Ramesses and they end up in the wilderness of Moab, I think it was 41 times I have numbered for when they left Ramesses to Sukkot, to Etham, etc. Now here is it. And Bidmibah is the wanderings or the desert in Hebrew. But the LXX, the Hellenists, call it numbers because of the numbering of the census in Bidmibah, chapter 1 and 26, and the wanderings to in Bidmibah 33. I'm going to move ahead. That is important here to know. The Israelites set out from Ramesses on the 15th day of the first month, when they said the day after the Passover. But again, it did not give a date, but it did not say what day of the week. Notice, it gave a date of the week, 15th, an ordinal number then, of the day, and it gave a month, but it did not give which day of the 1 to 7 week was the 15th on. That is clear. Now notice this here, Pharaoh's chariot. I saw a PBS documentary about building Pharaoh's chariot. These chariots were well engineered and they were fast. very fast. So think about these chariots, because they are coming out of Ramesses in the sight of the Egyptians who were burying their firstborn. And I noticed they were not afraid. They came out with a lot of reparations, and they were not afraid of Pharaoh after all of these building up these perhaps monuments to Pharaoh. Shemot, Exodus 12:37. The Israelites journeyed from Ramesses to Sukkot, and that is what they said in Exodus 12:37. But then you go to Bidmibah, Numbers 33, verse 3, on the 15th day of the first month, the day after the Passover. Notice, you see, Numbers or Bidmibah is punctilious, but Shemot is not as punctilious. They just say the Israelites journeyed from Ramesses to Sukkot. So you have to bring Numbers and Shemot together to have the confirmation. Understand that so far? Take note of the calendar language, the 15th of the first month. The Israelites, having departed out of Ramesses, Egypt, Pharaoh changed his mind, Shemot, Exodus 14, verse 6. So he had his chariot made ready and took his army with him. Verse 7. He took 600 of the best chariots, along with all the other chariots of Egypt. So the best chariots are going to be in front. You notice that? Fast, speed. All right, along with all the other chariots of Egypt, with officers over them, and pursued the Israelites. If you ever see military, what you call strategists, the Romans always put their best soldiers in front, right? And the Medes and the Persians too, always the best. And when you knock down the best, you have the second in the rear coming up. Oh my, military strategists. Pharaoh's pursuit was a fiasco. The Israelites were saved, crossing the sea, and Pharaoh's army was totally destroyed, crossing the same sea. And then Shemot, Exodus 15, is the song of Moses and Miriam. It is one of praise and deliverance. We too, when we are delivered, we are going to have praise and deliverance to whom? Yahuwah. And of course, Shemot, Exodus 15, 22 to 27, the waters of Marah and Elam, the Israelites tested by Yahuwah. Continue here. Now here you have a date. Shemot, Exodus 16:1. And they set out from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came to the wilderness of Sin on the 15th day of the second month after their going out of the land of Egypt. But it did not say again which day of the week. It just said the 15th day of the second month. And they came to the wilderness of Sin. Again, Covenant Calendar Club. Pay attention to Shemot 16:1. And came to the wilderness of Sin on the 15th day of the second month. 2 consecutive 15th, first month. I have to skip over this because of time. Second month, you can see it there, but not the day of the week. Are we in the guessing game for which day of the 1 to 7 daily week that it came on? Something to think about. Shemot, Exodus 16, is all about the manna and quail narrative. No doubt, most of the Israelites did not know which day was the 7th day Shabbat. because of slavery. That is important. Working 7 days a week for hundreds of years. And that is why in Deuteronomy chapter 5, the 7-day Shabbat was given because they were slaves in Egypt. But Exodus 20 gives a different, what you call idea. It was because of creation. Put them together to show them make sense. In bullet point, Shemot, Exodus 16, verse 4, Yahweh said to Moses, I will rain down bread from heaven for you. The people are to go each day and gather enough for that day. In this way, I will test them and see whether they will follow my instructions. Therefore, from the 15th of the first month, try not to have too much biases here. That may be explained in some other time and maybe not today, but listen good. To the 15th of the second month, even up to the quail account, the 7-day Shabbat was not enforced until the quail account. The Creator can do this or not. He is very merciful. The narrative of Shemot, Exodus 16, prove this. And now all, not some, 2 million people, 600,000 men, now all Israelites knew which day was the 7-day Shabbat and no excuses. And then Shemot, from now on, Shemot, Exodus 17, water from the rock, the Amalekites defeated, no doubt from the weapons that the Israelites left when they were drowned at the Sea of Reeds. They took those weapons with them, no doubt. And Joshua defeated the Amalekites. And then Exodus 18, Jethro visits Moses. Finally, the Israelites are about to enter the wilderness of Sinai. Shemot, Exodus 19:1. In the 3rd month, they came to the wilderness of Sinai. On this day, first, the 15th, then camp in the wilderness in front of the mountain afterwards. But you're going to find out on Exhibit B, postulated later in Power Slide, on the day of the week they came to the wilderness of Sinai. Okay. This is a wilderness here, a wilderness experience, right? Shemot, Exodus 19:1. This is a wilderness experience for the children of Israel. It could be any place. It's a desert. It's a wilderness. In the 3rd month, after the children of Israel had come out of the land of Mitzrayim, I like the word Mitzrayim, Egypt, on this day in the Hebrew, they came to the wilderness or desert of Sinai. Biblos Hebrew Interlinear, Shemot, Exodus 19:1. This is how they translated it. In the month 3rd, choppy Hebrew, all right, but I have to use it. In the month 3rd, after had gone the sons of Israel out of the land of Egypt, on this day, they did not use same day, they just used on this day, they came to the wilderness of Sinai, but they did not say the day of the week. Strong's Hebrew 2088 is ZA, is this. The NASB, this. See how many times they use it? 1,230 times. And same is only 10 times. Preponderance of this, 1,230 times. Let's go to Young. 3117 Strong's Hebrew is age. The word is olam in Hebrew. means an indefinite portion of time, and the Greek says aion, which is the same, an indefinite period or portion of time. And days, 635 times, day equal light, or day as a unit of 24 hours. And it also, yom can be also used as time as well, which they use 45 times, etc., etc. Yom, day, is used as the day time of Yahuwah. It can be used day of the month, day as opposed to night, etc. So let us use yom as time. Bereshit, Genesis 2:17. But do not eat of the knowledge of the good and evil, for in the day or time that you eat of it, you shall surely die. The word should be not here. Sorry about that. Therefore, you can use on this day or same time in Shemot Exodus 19:1 is on this day or same day. And the question is, let's pause for a while. It is referring to the same time of the 15th. Therefore, you can use on this day, that's correct. See it here. Or you can use same day. Okay. Or you can use same time of the 15th. That is the question. Of the 15th? Is the 15th date like the two witnesses, Bemidbar, Numbers 33, verse 3, and Shemot, Exodus, verse 1? Is Yahuwah by the writer saying to tell us? Or can it be on any day of the week? Something to think about. Let me have my Aquafina here while you think. Move ahead. Let's bring in some commentators. Cambridge, one of the fourth largest, oldest university in the world, in London. I got my degree from these people in history and geography and scripture knowledge. Just in case that you know, not boasting here. They're Trinitarians. I do not agree in everything that they have taught me. Cambridge Bible for Schools and Colleges states the same day, the date, I put date of the month, must in some way have fallen out in the early part of the verse in Exodus 19 verse 1. And I wondering to myself, is the Masoretic text hiding something? They try to hide Yahusha, you know, in Psalms 22 and Psalms 40. That's for another time. Jameson Fawcett Brown Bible Commentary states, in the third month, according to Jewish usage, it was the first day of the month, the third month, the same day. Adam Clarke's commentary states, who is this Adam Clarke? He existed in the 19th century, 1800s. He was a well-known Wesleyan. He know Greek, he know Hebrew. He was well known in the British Commonwealth that at the time, that before it was broken up. South Africa, Nigeria, India, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, the Caribbean, okay? These people in the 50s, fundamentalists, used his commentary a lot in the 60s. Later, others took over. In the third month, he says, this was called Sivan, the same day. But here is it. He's not biased. There are three opinions. First opinion, the same day means the same day of the third month. With that, this means as follows, the 15th. He is saying the same day means the 15th on which the Israelites left Egypt. And we discovered in postulating the 7th day of the week, the 15th, the first day of unleavened bread. We will expose this later. Then he says, okay, first opinion, and he's going to give a second opinion. Signifies a day of the same number with the month which it is applied. As follows, the 3rd day of the 3rd month. By this same day, the 1st day of the 3rd month is intended. So which of these positions that the Creator wants you to use? The 15th, the 3rd, the 1st day of the 3rd month, and some others also recently has speculated that it was the 4th day of the week of the 3rd month. Moving ahead, the date, the 15th, should it not be on this daytime, on the day of the week? Although it may not be the same day of the week, the 360 days year covenant calendar, we show this on exhibit A and B. I have to move. Shemot, Exodus 19:10. This is important. Think about this here. And Yahweh said to Moses, go to the people and consecrate them today, the 16th, and tomorrow, the 17th. Have them wash their clothes, verse 11, and be ready on the 3rd day, the 18th. I'm using these dates, postulating them, because on that day, and you can see that in calendar, Yahweh will come down on Mount Sinai. So think about this, Exodus 19:10 to 11. Having arrived on the 3rd month, note we're going to get these exhibit coming up. Exhibit B coming up, the one postulated. The 15th day or time of the 1st month is on the 7th day of the week. Surprised? Judaism also, they ain't telling you, no, I am exposing them. Where Judaism has the 15th day when they came out of Mizraim on the 7th day of the week, which was postulated by us. They are not always wrong. They agreed with the postulated position when the Israelites left Ramesses, and they are saying it was on the 7th day of the week, the 15th of the 1st month. The Israelites were not tested yet. They were not tested yet. Let's continue on. The 15th of the 2nd month, the 2nd day of the week, Tuesday. Surprised? Judaism and the postulated exhibit B agrees. The 15th of the 3rd month, now here we have to depart. We're going to have to depart now, the postulated position. The 4th day of the week, Wednesday, was the 3rd month. However, not on the same dates. Judaism on the 1st day of the 3rd month, Wednesday. The postulated position would be also the Wednesday, the 15th of the 3rd month also. And some others recently, it is the 4th day of the 3rd month, Wednesday also, but on a different date. All on Wednesday, but on different dates, or the 4th day of the week. You can call him any day you want for me. You call him Paul Day, Conrad Day, whatever. All on Wednesday, 4th day of the week on covenant calendar, but on different dates of the 3rd month. Why? What is going on? Covenant calendar. Never, never be confused. We will get some answers. This is the wilderness experience, okay? It's in the slide. No time for this here. Continue on. The woman represents in the wilderness, represents the congregation of Israel in the Melchizedek order when she flee in the desert in Revelation 12:14. This is the calendar we'll come to soon. Exhibit A. I want to continue here. In the book of the covenant, reference to the 3 annual festivals, Shemot, Exodus 23:16-8, celebrate the feast of harvest with the first fruits of the crops you sow in your field, not what you see in the field. The some others, because of the outline scene, Exhibit A coming up, has followed the Judaism position. I know some of you know who I'm talking about without calling any names. The some others, because of the outline scene, Exhibit A, has followed the Judaism position. The Feast of Weeks Pentecost is the giving of the 10 commandments, but is not on the 5th of Sivan, 3rd month, but on the 8th of the 3rd month, the first day of the week. You can see that on Exhibit A. Feast of Weeks Pentecost. Pentecost is not a Hebrew word. I want to let you know that. It is a Greek word which Luke coined twice. Not of course, in Acts 2, when the day of Pentecost came, or when the 50th day came. That is what he is referring to. And I think Acts 19 as well. It is an agricultural crop festival. It's about a harvest of souls, the first fruits harvest. The Feast of Ingathering that we celebrated is the second harvest, which is in Exodus 23:16b. Celebrate the Feast of Ingathering. It is not the giving of the 10 commandments. It is a tradition of Judaism. Note, Judaism, in order to have the 10 commandments given on the first day of Sivan, the 3rd month, first year, they left Ramesses on the 15th day of the first month, first day of unleavened bread. The 7th day of the week arrived on the first day of the 3rd month, the 4th day of the week, Wednesday, and the giving of the 10 commandments will be on the 5th of Sivan, first day of the week. We're going to show this. The some others arrived on the 4th day of the 3rd month at Sinai, a Wednesday also, but on a different date, the 4th. The 10 commandments will be given on the 8th of the 3rd month, first day of the week, Sunday. The exhibit coming up. Not forgetting the lunar Shabbatarians. It seems as if they have a big back. You may know them. One called WLC.com. They have a big back. They're very intelligent. They're not dumb. But anyway, and the lunar Shabbatarians, they left Ramesses on the 15th, I put in Saturday, arrived, well, we call the 7th day of the week, and arrived in the Wilderness of Sin, the 15th, another Saturday, and arrived in the Wilderness of Sinai, the 15th, another Saturday. Boy, I tell you, I think I need to have a drink. We will now explain Exhibit A and Exhibit B on calendar. All right. Let us go now here to Exhibit A. Quickly. Exhibit A, some others. The year in the first year started on the 4th day of the week. Passover was on a Tuesday, 3rd day of the week. And the 15th, first day of unleavened bread, is when they left Ramesses. Now you have this here, the 18th, which is when you get into the land in Leviticus 23. Then you have the Omer count begins on the 19th after the Shabbat. And then you have here, based in the 2nd month, you can see here, when they arrived here on the 6th day, different day, and you have the quails. They also believe that the people were not tested yet. They agree with me with Ben Habayim, in which they caught the quails. And by the way, quails are very juicy meat. I used to eat not quails, but a bird called mountain dove. Oh, that was delicious. These people had sheep and goats, but they wanted no doubt the quails because they were juicy meat and sweet and tender. Notice there is no manna here at all. There is no manna over here. Where is any manna here? No manna fell. Manna fell here on the 17th, according to them, and they are correct, even though they have the week differently. And because they were tested. Move ahead. Now, here is what is they have. On the 3rd month, they arrived on the 4th, which is the same day. They interpreted it, that they are interpreting that because they left on the 15th, on this day or the same day, SD, that they also arrived on the same day or this day. Then they camped at the foot of the mountain on the 5th day. And then I read Exodus 19:10. Today, he says, consecrate them. And tomorrow, consecrate them still, the 7th day, they have it the 7th-day Shabbat. And then they talk about the giving of the 10 commandments were given on the 8th of the 4th month, according to some others. Moving ahead here. Here we have the same position. Exhibit B postulated to show what day, when did the Israelites left Ramesses. We believe, and I believe, postulated again, it was on the 7th day of the week, just like Judaism exposed. They believe the same thing. On the 7th of the week, New Year's Day, vernal equinox, which Moses put down as we look into further research, according to Philo. He says Moses put down the vernal equinox as the beginning of the year. And that is correct. We use that calendar up to this day. And so the 15th is the unleavened bread they left Ramesses. Correct. The 2nd month, when I showed you, Judaism is on the 15th that they arrived in the wilderness of Sin. The manna came on the 20th. That is also correct. But they're not telling you. They are not exposed. They never tell you this. And then the manna came on the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th. For the first time, it didn't come here on this week. It didn't come here on the 1st of the 2nd month. It didn't come here in the 1st month. It came here. This is all about whom? Yahusha, the bread of life. John chapter 6. Then you have the double portion of manna. And the 7th-day Shabbat was revealed. Now it's going to be enforced. The Father in his permissive will allows this to happen because they wanted quails, and he allowed it to happen in his permissive will. But no way, not in his perfect will. This is what happened. So you have on the 2nd month, the 27th of the 2nd month, on like 60 days year covenant calendar. Exhibit B. Let us go here. I will see why I use this here on the 3rd month. Notice here, the postulated position. I put them side by side for a reason. Notice, because we get this from Judaism, they are the one who has messed up this calendar. Those of the, I would not even say it, synagogue. All right, enough said. I think somebody can say that very well. First arrived Judaism, 4th day of the first month. They camped, just like the others or some. They believe the same thing, but on a different date, on the 5th day, okay, at the foot of the mountain. The 6th day, when Moses in his ascent, and the Creator says, today have them consecrated, wash their clothes. Tomorrow, the 4th day, and I am going to come down in the presence of all the people on the 3rd day. This is where they get the idea of the 5th of Sivan, the giving of the 10 commandments, which they call Shavuot, the postulated position. They arrived, same thing, on the 4th day. Remember the others, the same thing on the 8th day? Let's move ahead. On the 4th day, the postulated position of Torah to the tribes platform, which I am on, 15th arrived at Mount Sinai. The 16th, Exodus 19, verses 10 to 11, or Bidmibah, at the foot of the mountain. And he went up that same day with the, what the Father proposed. Then they accept, and he went back up with the acceptance, and this is what the Creator said. He arrived on the 19th, on this date, on this day. See here, not you see it on the calendar, arrived on the 15th, on this day, time is getting away, and then he went there, camped at the foot of the mountain. See, there's nothing here. You see, they didn't put when he went up, because they wanted to have the 10 commandments on the 5th day, on a Sunday. And he says here, have consecrate them today, wash their clothes tomorrow, and then 10, now hear this, the 10 commandments were given. Thanks to Jose, I had to do a different power slide here for this. I love this. The Father is set apart. He is special. He is different. So thanks to Jose and Linda Demas for giving me this idea. This is the 360 days year covenant calendar in the book of the covenant in the wilderness of Sinai. The 7th-day Shabbat, the 18th of the 3rd month, 18th of the 3rd month, and the book of the covenant confirmed on the 19th of the 3rd month. Torah to the tribes got the understanding of the new covenant. Because of this, the Melchizedek priesthood, Hebrews 6:20, 3rd month, 15th arrived at the wilderness of Sinai. 5th day, 16th foot of the mountain. Moses ascend, Exodus 19, 10 to 11. Today, consecrate them today. Have them wash their clothes. By the way, it's 2 million people, right? But they're washing their bodies too, and their clothes. Some of them only had on one garment, not hundreds. And by the way, the garment that had never rot. Okay, miracle. One garment for 40 years, amazing. And shoes, sandals for 40 years, not today. So on the 17th, tomorrow, wash clothes, double manna, prepare. Guess what? 18th, Shabbat fellowship with Tamara and Jose. Tamara as the host and Jose co-host. Hell no. I mean, yes, we have them. We're glad for them. But here is Shabbat fellowship with Elohim in Israel's sight. What more would you love to have a Mohidim? Huh? First time in history, no doubt. With whom? The Creator. And the book of the covenant confirmed. You have to have what? 10 commandments, not suggestion, in order to have a covenant. And the 10 commandments is the foundation of the book of the covenant with the 3 annual festivals. I hope you understand this, brothers and sisters. This is covenant calendar here. All right, ending here quickly. I'm gonna have to skip here. The meaning of postulate, this is important. A thing suggested or assumed as true, as the basis for reasoning, discussion, or belief. On the 360 days year covenant calendar, the Israelites left Ramesses on the 15th, now we know where, the 7th day of the week, and arrived at the Wilderness of Sinai, the 15th, the 4th day of the week, Wednesday. Like the others and Judaism, but on different dates. What are those different dates again for when the Israelites came to the Wilderness of Sinai? For some others, I have to repeat, Wednesday, the 4th day of the 3rd month. Judaism, Wednesday, the 1st day of the 3rd month. Lunar Shabbatarians, in the mix, Saturday, the 15th day of the 3rd month. And lastly, Covenant Calendar Club has postulated, that's the word I used, I want to be safe, the 15th of the 3rd month, and Wednesday also. This will put the giving of the 10 commandments on the 7th day of the week, the Shabbat, a Mohidim, a set apart assembly. What would you want to have? Don't you want to have it on a Shabbat rather than up there consecrating yourself? I would love to have Shabbat on the 18th. The first Shabbat fellowship, we say that a lot, with Yahuwah for the congregation of Israel in the Wilderness of Sinai on the 18th of the 3rd month. The book of the covenant, one of the essentials in understanding in the order of Melchizedek priesthood. I got to really go over this. Hebrews 6:20. Do not say, talk about the Melchizedek priesthood and do not understand. It is still veiled. I know that. It may take a while. But thanks be to the Father, you are here today. I'm glad, at least, would have been on the 360 days year covenant calendar on the 1st day of the week. When did Pentecost came? The 50th day. A new covenant. Was it not on the 1st day of the week as well? Where 3,000 received the impartation of the Ruach HaKodesh, and the outward sign of speaking in tongues, though not all the time when you have the Ruach HaKodesh, but it was a manifestation very, very for that time to show the demonstration and the power of the Creator. Sunday, the 19th of the 3rd month, the book of the covenant confirmed, and you can see that in Exodus or Shemot 24, that all those mentioned above, except the postulated one, Exhibit B, seems to have forgotten. Here, Exhibit B postulated, there is right now in the age of information, we have this. Now you know. And before I move here, I'm going to finish up. Now you know. I want to go into Hosea chapter 2. 14. Listen good. Therefore, I'm going to allure her. I will lead her into the desert, wilderness, and speak tenderly. See, the Father is romantic, tenderly to her. There, I will give her back her vineyards and will make the valley of Achor, which means trouble, a door of hope. There she will sing or respond as in the days of her youth, as in the day she came up out of Egypt. Remember the song of Moses and Miriam? See, they always go back to the Exodus. 21. In that day, time, by the way, 18. In that day, time, I will make a covenant for them. You see, the Father is all about covenant. Moving ahead. In that day, again, time, yom, I will respond, declares Yehuwah. I will respond to the skies. See, the skies first, okay? The Shamayim, and which is the celestial sphere, and they will respond to the earth in the geocentric terrestrial sphere. Moving ahead. I will plant her for myself in the land, 23. I will show my love to the one I called not my loved one, which is Lo Rahoma, Hebrew, not my loved one. I will say to those called not my people, you are my people. And they will say, you are my Elohim. And Jeremiah 31:33 also says about the new covenant, that which we have right now on the fleshly tables of our hearts, not on letters of stone, but on the fleshly tables of our hearts. And we are going to say, he's going to say, I will be, Yahuwah will say, I will be their Elohim. And they will say, and they will be my people. And we will say, yes, we are your people. Jeremiah 31:33, I will be the Elohim, and they will be my people. Be blessed, brothers and sisters. And by the way, before I finish here, because of time, I'm looking over here, where Revelation 12:6, the woman fled into the wilderness, desert, the place prepared. Notice the word prepared for her by Elohim, where she might be taken care for 2,060 days on what? On, it has to be a covenant calendar, on the 360 days year covenant calendar. She is after the order of Melchizedek, not the Aaronic priesthood. Hebrews 7:12, for when there is a change of the priesthood, there must also be a change of the law. The question is, I don't know. I'm not in prediction addiction. Maybe in Revelation 12:7, the beginning of the first month, when the Israel's exodus from Ramesses was on the 15th day of the first month, types and antitypes. Would this be also on the 15th day of the first month next year, 2021? It's something to ponder or think about. So remember, the 10 Commandments, according to Judaism, was on Sivan the 5th on a Sunday. The other some was on a Sunday, same Sivan the 8th, the third month. And the postulated position was the 10 Commandments was on the third month, the 18th of the third month. And the book of the covenant confirmed on the 360 days year covenant calendar that others have forgotten or just do not know was on the first day of the week, which is the third month, which is the 19th of the third month. Now you know, be blessed. Thank you.
We are blessed indeed. Thank you, brother. All right, so we do have a very, very short amount of time before Brandon gets on, about maybe 5 minutes. So if anyone has any questions or comments, right now would be the best time. And just to recap what Connor was saying, so they left Ramesses on the 15th of the first month, okay, the day after Passover. And then they arrive on the Wilderness of Sin on the 15th day of the second month, and then they arrived at Mount Sinai on the 15th day of the third month. So Yahuwah planned it perfectly, um, those full 75 days.
Yeah, so you have
from
three
the beginning of the year.
15s now. You see, even though some of I don't know why, sometimes the Creator conceal things. Okay, what the Creator conceal, He will reveal in the end times, in the age of information. You're left on the 15th of the first month. You arrive in the wilderness of sin on the 15th of the second month. Would not be the 15th of the third month as well, with the two witnesses? Something to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Interesting.
So now we have the three witnesses.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead, Beth.
It's about when Conrad mentioned the non-chronological passages there from somewhere in, after the covenant was ratified. I think it was Exodus 25 until 31 something, just before the golden calf incident. Like, how do we know that's not chronological? Is there any other text that can lead us to see that that's not chronological?
That's good. Yes, number one, Matthew Nolan, that's why I'm on this platform, believes that's true as well. Because you look at this Rashi, he is well known in Judaism. And Ramban Maimonides is well known to himself. But also I could attest to this because I discovered this myself before even I heard about Rashi. I got this through the Spirit. And nevertheless, Rashi believed it is not chronological. Matthew Nolan of Torah to the Tribes believed the same thing. And I also believe the same thing myself. So there are three witnesses confirmed, and that would be from Exodus 25 to Exodus 31, verses 18. And then the chronology continues that left off in Exodus 24, 18, continues to Exodus 32. There must be someone, I'm going to try and do this, to explain this to the Torah to the Tribes platform so they would understand this much, much better, because not understanding can lead to misunderstanding and confusion. And the Father is not the author of confusion.
I agree, because that's the only way that we can actually really put it together perfectly in terms of like how they broke the covenant in chapter 32, and then the Levitical priesthood in the book of the law was instituted, because it doesn't make sense to give instructions for a sanctuary that was going to be used precisely for the Levitical sacrifices before the covenant was broken.
Yeah, or before it existed. Like before
Exactly.
The sanctuary existed. Yeah.
Before the law existed, in other words, yeah. That was tripping me when I was watching the Melchizedek videos, because everything that Matthew Nolan said made perfect sense. But then I went like, wow, wait a minute. So why all these instructions for the sanctuary or the tabernacle placed before they broke the covenant if the imposition of the law hadn't taken place yet,
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to keep things to myself, but when I see others reveal it, then I'm able to have another witness, which I always love to have, witnesses.
Yeah, I hope we can get back to this with a more thorough explanation as to why, how can we really be sure that it's not chronological? That'd be nice.
Yeah, Manny has a question, but really quick, there are times when they were talking about the Ark and the Covenant before the Ark was even built. So there was so when it comes to statutes and commandments, they sometimes compile a theme, but not necessarily chronological. They will bring other timelines into kind of like testify about that certain commandment. So that's why you're not gonna, but the whole storyline is chronological. But when you read it, you can't think that each verse you read is chronological because they do add certain things from the
Yeah,
future,
because we are
past, and so
accustomed
on.
of reading things linear. You see,
Mhm.
linear means straight across horizontally. Sometimes we need to go up vertically. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you,
All
brother.
right.
Manny, one last question, and then we're gonna get to Brandon.
Not a
Um,
question, it's a comment.
or comment. All right, great.
Didn't Matthew explain that about the chronology in the Book of the Law, Book of the Covenant, and answers to the Book of the Law, Book of the Covenant 119 Ministries?
I think he did, but what Conrad is saying, he would just like to kind of expound more on it, to just lay it out in nice detail.
Yeah, but I
Yeah,
think
so-
you can get that. Go start there.
Mhm.
We'll get to see, read those two. Listen to those two, and then we can Conrad can add from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, do not follow 1119 ministries.
No,
They
don't
can't even
follow that.
produce the calendar.
I
They
know
don't
this.
even know how to produce the calendar. They said they
They-
cannot do it
No, no,
because
no,
it keeps
no,
on
no.
changing.
I just saying
All
that
right.
Matthew did his on an answer to that. I didn't say that they're worth anything.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, like Exodus 16:35 reads, and the children of Israel ate manna for 40 years until they came to an inhabited land. Exodus 16. How can that was before the 40 years was up? So it's just basically we have to like look at the context and see what they're actually talking about. All right, we're gonna go ahead and move on. Thank you, Conrad, for that and for all the wonderful questions.